Welcome everybody to the House of More Politics. I want to give a shout out to my boy Darnell Hall. He's my man, 20 grand. He's the one that wanted me to put this video together for you guys. So I'm gonna give it my best shot. I'm not feeling up to it right now. You know, I'm kind of under the weather a little bit, but we're gonna try to kick this off. So I want to talk about the Supreme Court justice nomination. Okay, you got the Republicans out there saying that they're not going to nominate any Supreme Court justices in President Obama's last year in office. You got President Obama saying, "Hey, I'm going to do my constitutional obligated job and nominate someone to the Supreme Court. I will leave it up to the Senate to actually vote on this guy or gal and put them on the bench." Right now, as it stands, we have 8 justices. We're supposed to have 9. Okay, let me run them down for you. You got Chief Justice John Roberts, Anthony Kennedy, Samuel Alito, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Stephen Breyer, Antonin Scalia, who has since passed away, and that's why we got to replace him, Clarence Thomas, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan. So those were the 9 justices, but with the death of Antonin Scalia, we got to replace him because right now is 8. All right, now out of the 9, we had up until the death, we had 5 that you would consider conservative justices. You got majority of them came under George H.W. Bush. They were appointed during Reagan. They were appointed during George W. Bush's tenure in office. You have a couple of them who were appointed under Clinton, and you have some that were appointed under Obama. So, but technically you got 5 justices that are conservative, or you would consider Republican, conservative, whatever. You have 4 you would consider liberal or Democrat because they came under Democrat administrations. Now, with the death of Antonin Scalia, that leaves 4-4. So you would say, okay, now Supreme Court justices are not supposed to be Republican or Democrat. They're not. I mean, they're above party politics. But Republican presidents tend to nominate a more conservative person, and Democrats tend to nominate a more liberal person. So you got that little balance that they have. All right. So with the death of Antonin Scalia, you now have 4-4. And if ever there comes a time where they have to vote on something and it's 4-4 down the middle, then the court that approved a verdict at the lower level, that verdict will stand. So let's say you got a civil rights case and you're trying to decide if you want to have white onlys or, that separate but equal thing. If we had 4 conservative and 4 liberals at the time, and it was approved at the lower appeal court, the Supreme Court went 4-4, then the appeal court will become the law of the land, and it'll take you have to go through the whole process again to try to get it rectified. So that's why having 9 justices or having that odd number is important, because some decisions come down 5-4. All right, some are decided 7-2, 9 altogether. 1-6. So you got to be careful with that. So listen to what Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had to say about President Obama when he first came in office in 2010.
Our top political priority over the next 2 years should be to deny President Obama a second term.
Okay, so they were so dumbfounded that Obama beat McCain in that first go around that they all huddled together, and all the Republicans got together and said, okay, what can we do now? Because, we've had 8 years of Bush, and now we got a Democrat president. What can we do? What can we do? And then, you got that yes, we can. And they didn't know how to, and then they lost the House. So in the Senate. So what can we do to stop this guy? And the Senate minority leader at the time, Mitch McConnell, he is now the Senate majority leader because they got more seats in the Senate now. He said that his political agenda is to make Obama a one-term president. And how do you make him a one-term president? Well, you don't do anything. You let everything fail. You try to stop Obamacare. You try to stop his budget proposals. You try to stop any and everything that the president tries to do. You try to stop it. So politically, he is not achieving anything, and you can attack him in 2012 and say, hey, this president didn't do anything. He couldn't lead us. So that was their goal. And if you notice, they tried everything in the book. Even going so far as to shut the government down, just to try to put blame on President Obama so he can only have one term. Well, obviously it didn't work out. But even in that first term, look at what, at the time, Speaker of the House John Boehner had to say.
Hidden from the people? Hell no, you can't. Have you read the bill? Have you read the reconciliation bill? Have you read the manager's amendment? Hell no, you haven't.
Okay, so you got the Speaker of the House, you got the Senate Majority Leader, and all these guys saying you can't do this, you can't do that, trying to stop every little thing the president does. Obama got Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Kagan into the Supreme Court. So that's already 2. Clinton got Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Stephen Breyer. So that's 4. But now it's 4-4. So they're saying if Obama nominates a third person to the Supreme Court, it tips the balance of the Supreme Court, because for a long time you've had it where the Republicans or the conservative agenda was being pushed in the Supreme Court legislature, being that it's a 5-seat dominated conservative justice, and there are only 4 at the time. There's only 4 liberal leaning justices. They had the balance of power in their favor as far as being a conservative. Now that Obama has a chance to nominate a third person, thereby giving the balance of power over to the liberal leaning side of the Supreme Court, now they're all up in arms. The day Antonin Scalia died, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell came out with a tweet saying, "Do not nominate anyone to the Supreme Court." And they're trying to say, there's an 80-year precedent. We've never nominated anybody to the Supreme Court while the president was going through his last tenure in office. And they're even trying to go so far as to label him a lame duck. Well, there is precedent. And let's just talk about precedents for a minute. Precedence is when something has been done already and you can do it yourself because it's been established before. So if there's been an 80-year gap and not nominating anybody, there is still precedence to nominate someone. And I will go so far as to say this. Reagan nominated someone in 1987. That person got denied and he renominated somebody in 87. That person didn't get confirmed until 88, Reagan's last term in office. So they're saying, well, Reagan had 11 months, 10 months. Obama don't have that much time. Yes, he does, because most nominees get appointed less than 2 months. I think the longest went about 6 months. And right now he got about 300 days. They got more than enough time. Now, at the same time, they're saying, okay, let's wait until the new president. Let's make the Supreme Court seat be a reformation on the country. Let's let the people decide. If the people want a Republican, a conservative-leaning justice, they'll appoint a Republican into the White House. If they want a more liberal-leaning justice, they'll elect a Democrat. But that's not the way it works. What they're trying to say is, President Obama, don't do anything in your last term. And they're saying the people will speak in November 4th of this year. Well, Obama is saying the people have already spoken. They elected me to a 4-year term. You're telling me not to do my job. I should just leave office right now. So are you? And how about this? In the debates, all of them said that they will nominate someone. So why are you stopping President Obama from nominating someone? If you would do it, why would you stop him from doing it? Is it because you don't want? Well, is it because you're thinking about his legacy? Who cares about his legacy? We're talking about the country here. Are you saying that you want to get elected into the White House because you want to nominate someone and have a lasting impact on the court and on the country? There's no guarantee you're going to get it. Right now, Trump is kicking all of their butts. So you might not be that guy. So President Obama has already came out and he's trying to get the people on his side and say, hey, I'm going to nominate someone. I'm going to do my job. Let the Republicans fall on their face. I'm going to nominate someone to the Supreme Court. It's up to the Senate to go through the Judiciary Committee, which is ran by a Republican. He's the Chuck Grassley. He is the leader of that committee. He's the chairman of that committee. So it has to go through his committee before it goes to the Senate for a final vote. But they got to make it out of the committee. And they're talking about ways to try to block him and not let that happen. So I don't know. I don't know what the president's going to do. I think what the president's going to do is wait until after Super Tuesday, which is today, by the way. I think he's going to come with his Supreme Court nominee within the next week or two and just watch the political play out. So is he going to do it? Let's see. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be entertaining. So stick with this channel. Stick with this station because it's going to get hot. All right. Hey, Donnell, man, thank you for this the subject. I'm glad you reminded me because I was going to talk about it, but I kind of forgot about it because so much other politics is going on. But I appreciate it. And hey, like I said, guys, send me some posts, send me some updates, give me some likes. Let me know what you guys want to talk about, and I'll talk about it. Until then, peace.